was my fault. I was so afraid that if I started to cry, I wouldn't stop. I've loved competing. You put a lot of the rest of your life on hold to be able to compete at that level.
Back on top again, they're standing up the pace. And he looks at his face. Another one.
Eventing has been called the triathlon of horse sports. The element of trust between you and your horse is monumental. They would literally jump off a cliff if you asked them. It's a huge responsibility.
Eventing is one of the hardest sports in the sense that it takes a lot of discipline. So that takes a lot of concentration, you know, and a lot of harmony between horse and rider.
Cross country is like a steeplechase over a specific period of time. The jumps comprise a combination of upright fences and broad fences, as well as differing terrain, galloping up and down hills, through water, through ditches. It's the most fun and challenging aspect of three-day eventing. You never know what's going to happen in your life. His front end cleared the jump, but his back legs were caught on the top of the jump like a rabbit in a snare.
It was a bad fall. When you ride, it's not if you're going to get hurt, it's when and how bad.
He fell on his shoulder. My chin hit the ground with a lot of force. And the next thing I knew, I was lying there and Fred had run away and I couldn't get up. Those kind of thoughts just can't enter your mind. That was the hardest thing for me.
They told us the diagnosis is incomplete quadriplegia, and some people do die in the first week to 10 days.
They said that best case scenario, I would get 70% return, but that my hands and my torso, everything from my chest down would always be somewhat affected. I wouldn't let myself, I couldn't feel sorry for myself. My overarching impetus for the past 10 years had been what the horses were doing. I always knew what my next competition would be and what my next goal was. Suddenly, all those thoughts that you think about when you're in bed before you go to sleep or when you first wake up in the morning are not there, are not happy thoughts, aren't places that you can go.
Before she left, she was walking from the therapy room back to her bed, very, very slowly, with a walker. But and the nurses who would pass her, you know, they would say things like, "This is the best thing I've seen all day." It was quite a moving time for us, you know, because to see her back on a horse again was amazing.
Gigi is really so dedicated to getting better, riding well, staying fit, working hard, you name it, and that's Gigi.
I knew I wouldn't ride the way I had been riding. I knew that wasn't an option, but I got the competitive bug.
She's amazing. She is obviously extremely driven. She works very hard to be successful, you know, and loves every minute of it.
Now we're talking about, the Olympics, the London Olympics. And I thought, how in holy hell did we get from, tame riding to this?
Whether she's having a bad ride or a good ride, she always gets off smiling, you know, and she's always very positive about it. That's what makes her trainable, you know, that you can put the pressure on her and she doesn't cave.
I actually felt very much at home at the first show. I was pleased to feel that I really did belong there. The atmosphere was wonderful. I had a great horse. I was just, I was living the dream. The opening ceremony was just the first time that I've truly had a lump in my throat, to be so proud to be there. The energy was so inspiring. No sense of self-pity anywhere, and some of the most determined athletes you would ever see.
So it doesn't matter that Gigi's changed her direction. She's still at the top of the game.
Even though she's disabled, she works herself very, very hard to get herself around. She's very competitive. It's sort of humbling to be around someone who's so brave and so energetic and so full of life.
The fork in the road was a pretty difficult fork, but she's conquered it.